Okay, so today I'm going to give you a short little introduction to GameMaker. So the first time you open GameMaker, it should look like this. If it asks you for a serial number, then it hasn't been properly activated yet. So in GameMaker, you'll notice that there are a number of folders along the side and a couple icons at the bottom. To begin with, sprites. This is a folder where it's going to contain all of the sprites or graphics of your game. So sprites is another name for graphic, and it's what it looks like. All right. The other folders we're really interested in are objects and rooms. Okay. Objects are, as they self-explanatory objects, but you attach one or more sprites to an object. An object is something where you can attach events, you can tell it how to respond to other objects, and that's what you can actually put inside your game. Rooms are the place where you're actually going to put your objects, put your characters, and it's kind of like the background and space where you're going to have your objects move around and interact. Okay, so we're going to create a really simple little space game to begin with to give you a sense of how GameMaker works. To create a new sprite, you can either left click on this icon here, create a sprite, or right click on the folder and you'll have an option to create a sprite. Now whenever you create a sprite, there's a naming convention you want to follow. Every single sprite you want to start with the name SPR underscore, and then you're going to type the name of what particular kind of sprite you want. So in this case, ship. And the reason why we want to do that is because we may have an object of the ship and the sprite of the ship. If I just call both of them ship, then the game is going to get confused with whether I'm referring to an object or the sprite. So that's why you always want to preface it with SPR underscore. So this is the sprite ship. Now I'm going to use edit sprite, and I'm going to show you how to use the graphics editor. Double click on here, and here's my image editor. Okay. Now by default, the space is very small. I believe it's 32 pixels by 32 pixels. It's really hard to draw in there, so it can zoom in. Now, if I want my sprite to be bigger in my game, I can actually go to transform at the top, resize canvas, and here I can actually choose how big. So I'm going to make one that's 64 pixels by 64 pixels. So it's a little bigger. All right. Now I'm going to make a ship, really simple ship, probably just a triangle shape. Notice that it looks quite pixelated. That's because I am zoomed in quite a bit, and it is small. All right. So there's that. Go across. There we go. Maybe I'll fill it in with a dark gray. All right. And maybe I'll give it a blue windshield. There we go. Very simple ship. Click OK to save. There it is. Okay. Now I want transparent, even though there's green on the background. Don't worry about that. That when I have transparent checked, it's actually not going to show the green. It'll just show what I've drawn there. Okay. Click OK, and there's my ship. Now let's create an object of my ship. Okay. To create an object, right click, create object. And again, just like sprite, I'm going to start it with LBJ underscore ship. So this is my object ship. If I click here, it shows me all my sprites that I've made. I've only made one. So I click that, and now I've got a sprite ship attached to object ship. Okay. I haven't added any events on it yet. What I need now is a room. So I'm going to right click, click on room, create room. And notice that right away it shows me an object right here. Now if I I don't actually have to drag or anything. If I just left click somewhere in my room like there, it creates an object right there of my ship. Okay. Now under settings, I've got root name. Now I'm gonna go rm underscore main. So this is my main room. Now by default, my width is 640 by 480, and my speed is 30. I'm gonna leave that for now. Under tiles, this is where if I've created a tile, they would show up. I haven't created any yet. Backgrounds as well. Now I'm going to actually create a little background. So I'm going to right click on there, create background. I'm going to call it bg underscore space edit. Now here's just like my sprite editor, we have the same thing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a black background, and I'm just going to try to make it look like I've got some stars or something. So I'm going to do a couple little dots here and there. Okay. Maybe another little dot there. That's good. And now if I go back to my room, I can click on that, go to backgrounds, click, and then I can choose background space, and notice it tiles it all. If I want to see what it actually looks like without all these grids, I can click here, and there we go. I've got a bit of a space background. Okay. Now I want to make it look like my spaceship is moving. Really easily, if I just click here and I'm going to put in vertical speed of 5. Now let's just try my game. If I click and clicking play, it creates an executable, and it can take a little bit of time sometimes to actually start playing your game, but it will show you what your game looks like so far. And there we go. Got a moving background, so it looks like my ship is flying through space. Just click on the red button to close that. Now I want to add some functionality to it. So on my object ship, I'm going to double click and I'm going to add an event. So I'm going to add a keyboard event, and under there I'm going to move it up a bit so you can see I've got a whole bunch of options, and I'm going to add left key on there. If left key is pushed, I can add a move fixed, left, and a 5. Okay. Add one more event, right, move fixed, 5 in this direction. Okay. Now let's see what happens there. Here we go. Now if I push my left key, he moves left, right key, it moves right. Now one thing you can't tell is I'm just pushing it once and then he's moving all the way across. Not only that, but he's moving way past the boundary as well. And that's no good. So I need to add in some other conditions. So let's go back into the object ship. Now to make him stop moving so that he only moves while I'm pushing the left or right key, I'm going to add an event, create. And here's basically I can set up some properties from the moment my ship appears in the game. So what I want to do is add in some, here we go, set friction. And for friction, this is basically it's what's going to make my ship stop when I'm not making it go, when I'm not holding the button down. And I probably want to put something like 0.4 or 0.5. This isn't one where you want to put up to 10 or 20. If you do that, you're not going to be able to move them hardly at all. So I'm going to go OK, and let's see the difference that makes. Here we go. Left, let go. Right, let go. Notice it takes it gives it about a second to stop. It kind of does a slow down movement, just like that. But that's a lot better, and that's more the kind of movement we want. All right, I'm going to close that. Now let's add in the ability for it to recognize that it can't reach the edge. Okay. Now for this, under control, on my left, I want to put in a condition where if my ship is within a certain range, then it moves left, otherwise it doesn't. So I only want it to move left when it's within the viewing area. Okay. Now on the left-hand side of the game screen of the room, my x value is 0. The edge is 0. On the right edge, it depends on how big your screen is. I think I've got it set to 640 by 480, so it's 640 pixels wide.